It's Wednesday, the 23rd of November, 2022. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories in 5 minutes. Let's jump into it. How about yesterday? Story number 1, the local share market hit a 5-month high, with investors seemingly unconcerned about potential shutdowns in China and fears that higher fuel and higher home borrowing costs will slow consumers.
Yeah, look, the market is really showing its strength at the moment, led by big iron ore companies, energy stocks and healthcare companies. Over the past month, the S&P ASX 200 is up about 6%. That's despite all these increases in the cost of living. The reason for the more positive sentiment? Growing confidence that the worst of the inflation crisis might be over, even if interest rates do need to rise further. Now, in afternoon trading yesterday, the S&P ASX 200 hit 7,194 points, highest level since June 5. By the end of the day, it was up about 0.5% or a little bit more than that. The energy companies, they led the way. Whitehaven, New Hope, again, soaring by around 8% yesterday. Whitehaven's up 280% over the last year. Incredible. New Hope's up nearly 200%. But it's been much more widespread than that. BHP in the past month's up 11%. Rio Tinto's 13%. Fortescue's up 15%. Woodside Energy, what a powerhouse it's been ever since it combined with BHP's oil assets. Over the past month, it's up 8%. Healthcare is doing well. CSL's up 9%. Ramsay Healthcare's up 11%. Now, when you get the big materials companies, the big iron ore companies, and the healthcare stocks doing well, the market does well. The other big chunk are the financials. They haven't done so well except for Commonwealth Bank. It's up 7%, whereas National Australia Bank, Westpac and ANZ are flat or lower. Still pretty good performance all round.
Okay, on to story number 2. The federal government's industrial relations bill is centre stage in Canberra at the moment, with Labor saying it will extend sitting days to pass the legislation while businesses are fighting against it.
The particularly sticky point is multi-employer bargaining and what that means for the economy. For example, small businesses will face bargaining costs of nearly $15,000 according to the department's regulatory impact statement into the bill. Now, independent Zoe Daniel, she wants to raise the threshold of small businesses under the bill. At the moment, it's 15 or fewer workers. She says it needs to go higher. Big business isn't happy either. National Australia Bank Chief Executive Ross McEwen yesterday warned the bill could risk undermining competition. He says the enterprise system needs simplification, not more layers. Gina Reinhart's company, Hancock Prospecting, was out against it yesterday. It warned that the bill will threaten thousands of jobs and billions of dollars in mining royalty revenue. Michael, we're going to hear plenty about IR in the next few weeks.
We sure will. Okay, story number 3, Sean, how about this one? Vicinity Centres former Chief Executive Grant Kelly quit only days after receiving a first and final warning after a sexual harassment complaint against him was investigated.
He stepped down last week earlier than expected. According to the Financial Review, there was an investigation into the sexual harassment complaint and also a second investigation which found a higher degree of workplace dysfunction in senior executive ranks stemming from Mr. Kelly's behaviour. Now, the initial report, concluded by an independent investigator, upheld multiple allegations against Mr. Kelly, including that he made intrusive comments about a senior female executive's attractiveness and boasted to her about his sexual conquests. The board received legal advice that Mr. Kelly's statements constituted sexual harassment. A few days later, he quit.
Okay, story number 4, Sean. Anyone who has spent any time online will know that Black Friday sales have already commenced. Even though the official Black Friday kickoff isn't for another 2 days, retailers are forecasting about $6.2 billion in sales over the 4-day period.
That's right. Black Friday is the start of the Christmas selling season, of course. It actually comes from the US. It's the Friday after Thanksgiving in North America. Locally, it runs through to Cyber Monday. In Australia, Black Friday sales are now bigger than Boxing Day. Quite incredible. The Australian Retailers Association expects turnover to be about $6.2 billion, same as last year, despite all these cost of living pressures going on at the moment. Like last year, pet products, sport and outdoor activities and electronic products are expected to be big sellers. Now, it's self-evident, but this period until just after Christmas is make or break for retailers. In fact, in some segments, like recreation, it's almost 50% of annual sales. In other areas, fashion, liquor, electronic sales, it's about a third. So a really important period for the retailers.
Yeah, it sure is. Final story, Sean. Number 5, the Football World Cup is becoming a political focal point almost as much as it is a sporting event after teams representing 7 European nations at the World Cup said that their captains won't wear LGBTQI armbands after FIFA said players sporting the bands would be penalised.
The national federations expressed frustration at FIFA's decision, but said they couldn't put their captains at risk. 3 days in, Michael, there's been this latest furore over human rights and the treatment of the LGBTQI community in Qatar, where homosexuality is a crime. There's been the decision that beer won't be available in stadiums in the conservative Muslim emirate, infuriating one of FIFA's long-term partners. And the Iranian team stood silently during its national anthem ahead of its game against England in support of protests across that country over the past 2 months. Very political.
Yeah, it sure is. There we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Wednesday, the 23rd of November, 2022. Remember to hit follow and don't forget to check out our other podcast, How Do They Afford That, featuring Hannah Campbell, the founder of Sugar Mama TV, all about making your money work a little bit harder for you. There is a new episode out today, and this one is all about side hustles, making a little bit of extra cash. Find that wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.